Soccer, away!
Hey, welcome back to Kurzcast, where we continue to cover the Nations Cup, and today specifically cover Group G round 2, after just now finishing France, Ukraine. Next up on the schedule are Romania and Ireland, duking it out for a chance to still make it out into playoffs. Both of them have lost their first match. Both of them need a W here to make it out of the groups. With me here is Ipoli.
Hi, I'm really sorry, DuMmTm, but I'm actually not going to be here. I'm actually going to leave you with a budget version of me.
Yeah, here at Kurzcast, we listen to every viewer's feedback, and we
are
getting
chat
rid
said
of
I'm bad.
Ipoli.
So yeah, you're gonna get budget me. You're gonna get my brother in just a couple moments.
Yeah, we listen to your feedback. We've seen you don't want Ipoli, so we're getting you Ipoli, but better. Any moment.
Nice. Professional changeover. Hi, DuMmTm. How are you doing today?
Hi. How is it? You probably saw a little bit in the corner of your eyes from the game just now of France and Ukraine playing against each other. That was certainly interesting. France coming out strong. Ukraine having some plays, not too many, but some. And now it will be continuing in Group G with Romania and Ireland. Like I mentioned, both of them lost their first game. Both of them need a win to stay in this. Obviously, if the winner of this, assuming they get all 6 points and not any less, will have a chance to make it out of groups if they also win their round 3 game.
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking at the metrics a little bit, and we're seeing that Romania definitely looking more favourites, just in terms of like the raw data. We're looking at Romania, 13th or something, whereas we're looking at Ireland. They haven't been fielding their best players, or at least the best players from the roster, looking something like 21st. But we are seeing something in warm-ups that we weren't seeing in the previous games, which is Crayon made his way back into the Ireland squad. He's been playing demo in the warm-ups, so that could be a big change in terms of giving Ireland a better shot at this game in particular, anyway.
Yeah, Crayon is a really, really strong player, and that's something they sadly are missing. Both Chris and Josh, their potentially best soldiers of the nation currently, are not playing. They are pulling like a little bit of the Tony Stark, where they are saying, if you can't win without me, then you don't deserve to win at all, and they just both don't show up, so they have to make do with the next best thing, and the next best thing is a roster consisting of the likes of Admirable on Medic, returning a little bit here just for the Nations Cup, specifically on Medic, so he's making a little bit of a return. Kosoki is as well, or Kosulke, however you want to pronounce that. DGB, Quibi, I see on names that are making it here, and Sylvas, of course, as well, for Ireland.
Yeah, and on the other team, I was kind of looking at the previous game, and we definitely saw a lot of great plays. I mean, they were Romania were completely slammed by France in the previous game, and based on what we just saw, I'm not entirely surprised. France are looking incredibly strong, but Romania, they had a couple of great individual plays. Like I saw some decent stuff from Shampoo, who definitely put on a good performance, regardless of the fact that they only got like one round or something in between the two maps. Still, that was a fairly solid play. I haven't got the roster to hand. I don't know if you do, DuMmTm.
On the server, I see Shampoo, like you mentioned, Vlad Andre, upcoming mid-soldier, as far as I know, that's still his main, last I checked. Tavi as well, I think you are familiar with him. Ada on Medic as well, and I haven't checked yet if demos will show up today, but that would be the staple demo man. So once he is here, he will be resuming on demo man where he left off a little bit before in Premiership.
Yeah, there's a couple of very, very strong individual players. I mean, you're looking at both teams, really. You're kind of looking at a weird amalgamation of, like, some fairly high experience, a couple of guys kind of from the middle divisions. You see that a lot in Nations Cup, a lot of,
and always
diverse.
And always, like, the one washed-up player coming back just for the Nations Cup, because why not?
Well, whilst I was making the tweet before the game, I was going to shout out Admirable. I didn't realise he'd actually be playing.
Yeah.
And now I didn't want to show favoritism, so I didn't end up doing that one.
Yeah, Shampoo as well, I think, has played in a little bit, not as much as Admirable, at least actively team-wise. It's been a little bit more recent for him. I think he played on the same, used to play on the same team that got the demos into Premiership in the first place, but still in high back then, so, they have experience together there on the Romanian roster.
On paper, this looks like a closer game than the one we just watched. I'm expecting things to be a little bit more defined because we're looking at two CP maps as opposed to Viaduct being in the last map rotation. So I'm expecting a little bit more of like whichever team can bring themselves together more on the day. You know, these guys, they don't play together often. This is a kind of a one-off team, so whoever can get their stuff together before, maybe 15 minutes in or something, that's going to be the team that you're going to end up seeing with the better result. And really, it could be either of these teams, whichever one kind of has the stronger leadership.
Yeah, really, and I'd give just cohesion-wise Romania a little bit of the edge, but maybe Ireland can fix their stuff really, really quickly as well. They have some experienced players nonetheless, obviously admirable. Maybe can shout some confidence into these newer players on his squad.
Yeah, it kind of depends to me as well whether Crayon has a loud shouting voice. I'm not sure. Maybe a little bit more experience. Just coming from, again, either of the older players could be enough to just say, you, shoot here, apart from in an Irish accent. And just, try and bring these boys out of... Nobody here's a bad player. There's a reason they're on the national stage. I just want to see the best out of them,
Yeah, for sure. Let's see, who are we missing? Like, 2 players haven't shown up yet. Davos is connecting, so there's one of the last few. So he will, in fact, be playing Demoman. And that is such a huge asset to have, to be honest, the Demoman of the caliber of Damos. Obviously, well known in Premiership right now, playing Medic for Aura Electro. Not quite as strong there as on Demoman, has to be said, but still improving steadily, and Demoman is easily his best class, as his name would make you believe. So that is something great to have, something that Ireland is a little bit missing without, I should say, Chris or Josh on these soldier roles.
It's really a shame that these guys couldn't show up and give us the game. I mean, we can have some stern words with them later, say, why you're letting down your nation. But on paper, yeah, maybe it's looking like a Romania. I mean, the pure skill might just be enough, especially if it gets a little bit messier. Like, this could be an incredibly messy game in the end, and then it could just be whoever has the best raw DM or the best shouting power.
It should be pretty interesting. Let's see how that goes. We're still missing one to connect to the server, like you mentioned. Maps will be both 5CP. Once again, round 2 of the Nations Cup process and Gullywood, like we've seen before in the other game. So, 2 structurally similar, but still decently differently played maps in the end. And I got word that last player will be Gotti, once again another Romanian player that also has a lot of history with Shampoo and Damos.
Yeah, these are guys that have been kind of messing around this kind of like high kind of tier for a little while. I mean, I've casted a couple of Gotti's games, and these guys, like, they play together a lot. They kind of know each other quite well. You're expecting that they're going to have some kind of decent cohesion from the off. I mean, the expectation that they're probably going to be closer together is probably not entirely wrong. I mean, I'm looking at the Irish roster, kind of saying, like, I couldn't imagine Admirable and, let's say, Diggy B having ever been in the same room apart from LAN, Maybe that kind of thing. Maybe they're just, maybe friendship will prevail.
I think that would require Admirable to go to LAN in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bit of an ask, yeah. But I still believe it can happen. I'm definitely an Admirable believer. And I mean, I'm not going to put my money on it right here. I don't want to come into this game and just say straight up, I'm expecting the power of the potato to come through. But can't tell if that's actually a horrible thing to say. Let's move on quite briefly from that.
Well, it's going to be tough, because if either of them will want to make it still out of groups, they need not just to win here, but also in the next week's game, basically. And looking at who they still have ahead of them, it's going to be a lot tougher for Ireland. They have fans ahead of them. That's going to be nigh impossible looking at the moment. Romania has that game already behind them, and if they if they get 6 points here, the next ones that they need points from are Ukraine, and they just need more points. They don't necessarily need 6, just more. So anything better than a tie in that game will get Romania out of groups already, basically.
You'd expect that if Romania come up above Ireland, then the game against Ukraine would be... Well, I don't want to say... Let's say close anyway, because Ireland did actually manage to get some really close results with Ukraine. They got like 4-3 or something on process last week. So if we have like a solid Romania victory, we could actually be looking at Romania in second place. Not to get too far ahead of myself. But, this is, as you say, it's not looking so good for Ireland. They're going to have to probably pull in their big guys. So maybe a win here be the thing that turns it around. Maybe they'll be able to prove to themselves that, bring back the Chris, bring back the Josh. We've won a game without you now. Oh, God, save us.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe everybody else stepping in instead of them can just make a point for themselves here. Currently on Solly in pregame, we see Sylvest and DigiB, two players I've been a little bit familiar with, seeing them like in mid, dipping a little bit high, maybe lower dip 2 as well, making some moves there. So like improving players, and maybe they can like make a point for themselves. Hey, we might not be quite as good as you, but we don't need you to win here.
Everyone loves an underdog, DuMmTm. Everyone loves an underdog, and that's what we're seeing here. We're seeing very diverse gamers. So what are you kind of thinking for score-wise for you here? I mean, you've kind of shown a little bit of maybe Romanian for you, but what are we thinking?
Yeah, I still think it's going to be close, despite Romania's history together a little bit, that Ireland can still hold against it quite decently. I hope for a close game. I say 5-3, and the last 2 rounds will be decently late into the game.
I feel like, I mean, Process especially, this is a map I think we've all played to death. I mean, this game's been going on a while. We've certainly known Process quite well. It's all going to come down to this first few minutes. Who gets maybe the first good mid, maybe the first good aggressive mid, who can start laying down that French confidence that we saw so well in the last game. I mean, whoever pulls that one out first was probably looking at, something quite close here anyway. And we're going into this first mid. We're going to take this one through and see how they approach it. Nothing too weird coming out from either side. No off classes. They just want to take this one as easy as possible. Demo's much earlier. You might expect that from a demo of his caliber. Gets an early sticky onto Crayon. Nothing too big coming in from either side. No one's really aggressive. We've got a big bomb in now coming in. Getting a good rocket onto the medic. Not quite though. Both soldiers get cut down. The scouts actually did a really good job of cleaning up that soldier. Now we've got Admirable trying to kind of weave his way around. Hasn't quite been spotted on his way out to sewer. He's going to get chased down by Gotti. Yeah, not quite. That one goes down as well. So that was a very clean victory.
Yeah, Ireland, I think, over-centralized a lot on demos. Just wanted that kill so badly. 3 people committing for the demo and got him eventually, but it costed them 2 lives to get there in the first place. So they know what they want. It just costs them way too much to get there, and in the end, it just clean up all the way from there from Romania, getting those kills quite easily. Looking into the last push right now already with Silvers just barely spawning in time.
Yeah, we've got an optimistic sniper from Kasuki over on, what is it, next to the sentry over on left. We've got the Uber coming in now, really high bomb from Demos. Gets a little bit of damage off, managed to pull down that sentry gun. And now they're just kind of taking this slow over to the left. No real picks going either way at the moment. They're kind of healing up, trying to take this high ground. They're pushing through it. Soldier having to bomb forward in the form of Diggy B. He goes down. But again, kind of nice and slow play from Romania. Kind of again trying to fight for this high ground. I mean, it's getting quite late into it. It's really down now to who can get these picks. Tabby going down around the time that they're getting some time on point. Unfortunately, everything's kind of going down around it. It's a rival there trying to get a down saw and do the clutch play, but not quite enough.
Final arrow. We'll get the final kill this round. And it's always fun to see Process being like the one and only last point we have in the game, where like you can't Uber and just get the sentry and still manage to pull out a really successful last push after that, just with a slow grind game and good spam after that.
Yeah, so I want to see a nice kind of aggressive play again from sorry, it was Romania with the big cleanup in the end there. I mean, we had a great bit of aggression there previously from Ireland. So that's kind of what I want to see again, maybe with a little bit more team follow-up. But instead what we're seeing is a little bit slower. We've got soldiers taking the top in the form of Tabby now unfortunately going down after the aggression. Ireland just appeared to be getting all of the position, so that is actually their mid.
Yeah, crucially denying these soldiers to not have any freedom. Really nicely done for Ireland, getting second mid on the map for themselves, but not in a hugely convincing manner, so it's still a little bit of a close one here. Sylvester is trying to make some moves for his team, kind of just baits the jump to get some damage to Demos instead, and he will fall in the end. They lose Sticky B in the backline, so that's not too much to lose right yet. Kazuki goes a little bit too deep, goes down, doesn't matter. They still want to continue going and getting a lot of damage. Eventually forced to pop the Uber down. Anna's Uber will be coming out much later, but at the cost of 4 lives.
Yes, they just didn't go their favour. It just wasn't quite the Uber that they planned for. I mean, both of the Ubers were not ideal. But so we see admirable tiny advantage. You're going to expect some kind of stalemate on last. Cribbit just kind of peeking there, seeing about maybe whether there was a cheeky pick, someone who stayed a bit too long, but not quite. And we're seeing one sentry coming up for Shampoo, sniper for Kasuki. So we're planning to maybe try and take some space. Just getting on now, so he's going to try and take this lobby area. They've managed to take that one. They must have seen it. Yeah, we've got kind of a blue moving back, maybe trying to play around it. Just waiting for this pick here. Maybe something. Tavi might get caught. There it is. That's a headshot onto Tavi. They've got the pick. They just need to try and make something with it. They're going to try and take some more space, trying to bully out this lobby. They're going in far on that right side. They're going to try and get something onto the sentry. Admirable getting dropped. Unfortunate there, yeah, just down to a couple stickies. And that's an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, they just ever so slightly peeked the sentry sideline, and one of the rockets just splashed into like 3 people, enough to get Admiral low enough to get the spam sticky that he probably was expecting in the first place, but not the sentry one, to hit him, and it just came down to a drop. Fortunately for them, that was the only one they lost there early on, so not the safest approach for Romania at all. So this try is once again unsuccessful equipped as well, trying, and eventually Romania just forced to pop down Uber. Kazuki will be getting fragged as well, 3 down already.
Just trying to pop off that Uber during the transition, really good call there. They just want to try and get it, so they know they've already lost this midpoint now, but what can they do on second? We're looking at a sizable Uber advantage, a bunch of forwards coming in, just good timing. Then unfortunately not going to get the Kazuki after the late death, but they're still looking in a good position to try and push onto mid.
Yeah, just a matter of a few seconds away from having this work. Quippy already making some moves, seeing Vlad getting baited with it, and Admiral will know what we found a choke, so nicely baiting out the expected Roma bomb there, and unsuccessful one for Vlad, as the combo just taking it slow from Suan himself, Service leading the charge, forcing them back. Ada doesn't want to take a risk, Vlad trying once again, but the scouts are there to protect the medic. He refuses to die, but he also can't get anything done with these jumps so far.
Incredibly slow play from Admirable. Like, by the time that almost the entirety of Romania were out before he even left sewer, I mean, they just expected them to come in faster. They gave all the space. So yeah, it was good. It was nice and slow. And we're on a Uber v Uber scenario. Just some spam, kind of entertaining both teams on between this kind of choke point. Nothing really going either way. They've had to back up a little bit after the spam from demos. But we're just kind of looking for who can make this play. So there, we're kind of taking it in straight to try and get a soldier maybe onto something on point. He gets a lot of damage off, but nothing really substantial. And Alan had to back off. Now we're expecting some kind of counter-attack.
Yeah, they tried really hard to have some like fancy bait jump first with Silvers, and then they become in second or something like that. Didn't really pan out too well in the end. It was just kind of a single sack, really. And that's what they relied on here. Let's see if Romania can pull anything against that. So far, not really. Just a little bit of spam. Got some people weak, but not much else. Kazuki uses the opportunity once again to spawn back on Sniper here.
We're seeing a much slower pace of game than the previous 2 maps. We're kind of looking at someone showing, I don't know, we're just kind of trying to maybe figure out what's going to happen, maybe figure out what these 2 maps are going to look like. It's only a 1-0. Maybe both teams are just trying to, you know, base it out, see what's going to go on. We've got Demo's kind of in this very, very forward position. Might trying to get a little bit of pressure onto him just from the scout. Scout's actually trying to just run at him. That's cribby, but just going down. That was an incredibly brave play, especially considering everybody was just kind of in the area. Yeah, Demo's a bit far forward, but it was never going to be quite enough to pick him off, and unfortunately they lost a player there as well. And with the sniper, they've got to be careful. They don't want to get run at here, especially not through PC, which isn't being incredibly well watched. But still, they're staying really far forward. Crayon is getting a couple more pipes on. Maybe it's just Romania not quite opting to do anything here. They're just taking it incredibly slowly. I mean, I guess they're 1 up.
Yeah, they're just playing really careful. The only time they really committed in this damage was in this situation sewer, where they just really wanted to chase something down, but unsuccessfully. Crayon really busy cleaning stick, not having eyes on Demos instead. Still somehow to get better end of that fight. Demos weak, has to concede some ground here. Gives a little bit of an opportunity. Silvers just peeks in, wages his options, decides against actually jumping in. So both teams just really, really careful in this stalemate, and sooner or later somebody will either make a miracle play or mess up dramatically, especially given how much space they give each other.
Kazuki's not even necessarily playing in a very aggressive position. Well, now he is. They've just opted to go for this kind of sewer play. They're going to open the door for him, see whether he can get a shot forward. Nothing quite connects. I mean, Medic playing behind that point, he knows that it's there. I mean, they've just been waiting for him to do this entire time. He does actually end up hitting up on the shampoo, so now we're expecting them to kind of try and push forward here, and that's what they're trying to do. Trying to take grass. again, nice and slow play, nothing really committing, no one really trying to go too far forward. In fact, the way this is going, we're going to look at getting the spawner up now. Now they're trying to push forward a little bit more. We had a scout trying to run behind. He's going to get caught into a bit of position there, but not quite. And oh, everything goes down blue whilst I'm talking.
Yeah, it was just such slow before they could play just crawling their way forward, and eventually Quiver just like decided, well, whatever, I'm just gonna go for the demo man, and he got him and just completely squashed the hole. As they want to continue the pace forward and get a little bit of new exchange, slightly better one for them time-wise, but not player-wise. Crayon goes on, DigiB tries to get behind, just chased down by everybody, dies immediately. 2 down now, favor for Romania, able to maybe make some moves with this, potentially.
Yeah, the Uber just got stuck in that lobby area and then they had to turn around, and by the time that happened, I mean, yeah, the soldier bombed forward, but you're against 4 or 5 gamers at this point. It's just not going to really happen. And when your team's just that far behind you, you're kind of stuck. So got Romania, take on to this point, people bomb forward, just make sure that's on lockdown. And it's going to be a little bit of a reset, you should expect.
Maybe, but with the one player down, they might just take their chances, throw something early. They try, but at the same time, a headshot rings. Oh, Scotty goes down. Tavi Shampoo wanting to make some sort of double play there, scout Solly into mid, but with the one player dying immediately, they immediately just concede ground. They have to play careful again and just let the sniper reign supreme some more.
Yeah, it was a really, really good shot just to try and even that up. As you say, the player disadvantage wasn't great for them. They didn't want to give up mid, however. That's why he had the sniper in that forward position. And that's kind of what he's trying to do again now. I think he's baiting that he wants to go sewer after, I mean, it worked so well last time. You might as well try and keep opting whilst that weakness is there. Again, no one's really watching it. Demos is so far forward and on his own. I mean, the medic's already in position to dodge the sniper and sewer. You might as well take the position. However, we've got the soldier bombing forward, trying to get some damage off on it. Not really enough, and we've got a bunch of free shots going on. We need someone to really deal with this. If Romania's going to stop him from just ringing out a shot, if you give him enough time, it's going to happen, and it's Shampoo that goes down in the end. A little bit too far forward, and Ireland coming forward, mostly uncontested. We've got a bit of a fight going over on flank. Looks like it's going to go the way of DigiB. Picks it off, and we've got the Uber exchange on point. Romania staying in a really, really long time, and they've got caught in this really dodgy Uber where a lot of their players are down, and we could probably roll this one on towards last.
I feel like I've seen this before, just this really slow crawl where Romania gives them a lot of space, and then the Uber exchange where they just are a bit too disconnected and can't save everybody, so they just drop plays really quickly. But once again, Ireland just getting a little bit keen, wanting to get in deep. Quickly, Kern will lose his life. They continue to try to make something happen off of it to make it a little bit more worth it, but Kirby will get chased down as well. Once again, 2 down, just like we had before, and Romania looking to chase some players out into second.
Maybe what we're lacking is what we were saying, that strong voice just trying to tell everyone to move forward quicker. It's incredibly slow to the point of like, yeah, you're winning this second, and you know, well done to you, but you can't convert it. As soon as you get to this lobby area, you're getting a bit mangled up. And we're going to see Romania kind of bomb forward, and this is looking much better from them. They've got some really strong bombs forward, some good position, and Ireland just have to concede it in the end.
Yeah, really.
No picks going down for either side.
Ooh, just as you say that though, Gotti Demos getting 1 each, both Solis down already, taking a little bit of a fight, and Sue getting 1 more Demos on a 3k, just making himself be known as the better demo man here right now, where Crayon just kind of stuck and Rolled himself, gets out of that just barely. Vlad was there to deal some more damage, but Crayon will stay alive for now, which is crucial for this last hold here on even viewers.
Deeply unfortunate. I mean, when I say no player die, that's what you want as Ireland. You need to get out cleanly, and what ended up happening is that they lost a lot of players. In the end, it's not going to be too punishable. Everyone's up for last. We're looking at, again, the Super Sniper. Maybe opting for some kind of miracle play. Not quite going to be what ends up happening. With Cribber dying over on, what was that, far 1? It was 1. DigiB gets the counter pick, so a little bit of a reset again.
Let's see if Romania has some better strats up their sleeves for these last pushes here. Ireland struggled a little bit, just playing really quickly off of like really slow second transitions. The last 2 or 3 times you've seen them try, so maybe they have some better ideas here so far. Just again, playing really passive, which has been the story of the game so far. Kusoki and Sniper, we've seen it quite a bit so far as well, relying on the picks to just once again slowly crawl their way out of the last point, see what they can do. Let's see if Romania has some ideas how to deal with this entire hold and the Sniper in general, though.
They're taking it cookie cutter, they're taking it nice and slow. But I mean, that's not going to be what wins them in, and we've got to jump out, trying to get onto this medic. He gets one good rocket onto him, that's two. Gets the force, yeah. Really, really good jump from Silvers. He wasn't really denied, no one was really looking at him. He did manage to get a lot of free shots on, but a good job to him anyway, forcing all that off. And you're expecting Admirable now to be getting to the position where they can slowly walk on to second.
Yeah, just like really no deny, like you mentioned, like the scouts were nowhere to be found close to the medic. Just strange to see, maybe a little bit too afraid of the sniper to neglect the sollies now, but Ireland able to take advantage of it. A lot of spam coming towards one. Everybody takes a little bit, but nobody really a lethal amount. Admirable still having to be careful. There could be a jumper at any moment, so he lets his team cover ground first. Will be successfully leaving the last point for now with this advantage as well in their hand. They can make some moves happen into mid already.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to take it PC. They're kind of messing around with it though. No strong decision made there. They're rotating around, and by the time they walk through, they're actually not going to have any advantage at all. And you're really hoping that they know that, because otherwise they're going into an absolute meat grinder. And yeah, they're backing off. They know that they're not going to take it. They've taken it a little bit too slow here.
Yeah, that's like the motto of Ireland today. Just playing really slow, baby. Sometimes successfully, so especially from like mid to second, but in these situations, kind of just not being that helpful for them, unfortunately. And once again, it will just slow down to a crawl here. As DKB jumps in forward, gets one rocket, two, will get the kill onto Adult. Really, really nice single sack. And once again, just a lack of denial from Romania being exposed brilliantly from Ireland.
We're also not necessarily seeing the Romanian like sacks and stuff coming in too much. I mean, Admirable's not having the most difficult game of his life at the moment. He's not really being... I mean, saying that, the bomber does come in. Everyone's looking at him, though. There should be a really good deny on here. Yeah, no, not a point of damage onto Admirable here. So, that's kind of what they need, though. They need to make sure that they have got someone coming forward, especially when you've got these transition plays where, you know, this is the Nations Cup team. They're going to be a little bit more chaotic. See if you can get one in there, you know, get someone in there, try and get this force off, because at the moment, it's looking like they're going to try and roll this one straight onto second, and this looks like it's theirs. Not going to be too much of a defend going up here.
Yeah, which means there's potential to get this all into last with this advantage they already have. 60% only on Anders, Medican 70 now, as they pop down over into last on Ireland. Seaboard taking care of everybody rotated to the right side, so they have to make some long moves here. Silvers, however, dying early with his attempt to cross the point. Suki as well taking so much damage from the Sentry and cleaned up by Gotti. He's dead. Gotti as well going deep after that, getting another one. 6k for him already, and it's looking tough for Ireland. They're getting just squashed into the corner. DKB and Admirable the only survivors.
The aggressive soldier jump there just wasn't... I don't know, they kind of jumped around, but they didn't really deal with the gun too much. They didn't really get any position on top. Yeah, it didn't go to plan at all. Looks like we've got Kasuki coming up Spy here. He wants to try and turn this one around nice and quickly. And that's the kind of play that, you know, you do want to see. You want to see guys trying to, you know, get something out of this chaos. He's going to wait in this kind of forward position. You're expecting Ireland to kind of back off and not trying to contest this one at all. And do they see him? He's got behind him. He does get spotted at the last second there.
He almost like made use of this opening there perfectly, because Ada was playing really far back, knowing that there might be coming a jumper, but instead it was obviously Kasuka and Spy expecting them to play far back with the medic instead, and it almost worked, but Demos Game Centers just came in clutch in that moment.
So taking this one round on Sewer, getting I think Tabby probably went in a little bit too far there. He ends up getting picked off, which isn't, it was not entirely great position there. He got kind of caught out a little bit, but won't matter too much. We've got a sizable advantage over on one. They're taking it straight in. They don't want to wait on the ceremony. They're going to take the scouts across, try and deal as much damage as they can. Demo's doing a great job there. They're getting a couple of really, really vital picks. They need to remove these sticks, try and get some time on point before they start getting... No, it won't matter at all. They just get the picks. They just wait for these picks coming out on the door. That's a 2-0.
Yeah, really, really good stuff by Romania there, and I looked a bit at the kill feed, and there were some huge numbers at times. I think somebody had a 9k at one point here, so individual performances are great and all, but if you have this sort of like really nice cleanup on the last point, it just helps so much where Ireland just struggling a little bit more.
So we're going to need to see some big play from Ireland if we're going to get anywhere near getting the points that they so desperately need in this competition. They're not going to go out in absolute shame. So it's looking at, there's a diggity behind in sewers. Just kind of wait for him to maybe try and sandwich. He gets Shampoo. He just sees now rotating around to choke. They know he's there, so it's going to get cleaned up. He gets a lot of damage on that medic. You just need to get a couple more points onto him. Everyone's chasing forward for it. They know that the team's weak. Good pistol going on. It's not quite enough. Soldier now bombing in, trying to go towards one. He's going to go for the super late bomb. He's just looking for him. He's going down basically nothing. Oh, very, very unfortunate. That could have been quite fantastic, but it won't matter too much. It looks like they're just going to try and level this one down on second.
Yeah, Ireland controlled the space on mid really well with this jump behind and everybody up front just making them slowly move back, trying to get the perfect pincer, couldn't quite finish up on what the solely behind started. And with that being said, everything will slow down once again a little bit here on the last point. Ireland will have to break a stalemate once again, see if they can make it happen this time around. This time around, however, slight difference here is a Gotti on Sniper and a Sentry being built by Shampoo, so a little bit more setup here by the Romanian players.
It looks like we have a scout kind of playing around one, maybe trying to see if there's any way of converting this around. Gotti's just staring through that lobby area. He might actually be able to get a shot off on here, and oh no, he actually ends up being the one who falls in there. He's not the only one, actually. Lobby does go down on the side of Romania. They've got a lot of space here. We just need to make a decision. Unfortunately, Silvers gets caught out. Nothing really going in the way. They get the force, though. Really, really nice. They just don't want to get caught in this lobby area unless they're going to take the trade. No, not quite. They're just going to drop a bunch of players. So we have Admirable trying to get out. And although they have Uber, they're going to have to give the second up by the looks of it. Oh, not quite. They're not pushing out on it.
Yeah, but they still have to be careful that something might be coming in towards Admirable. The silver lining is both scouts survive. This is kind of what you need in this situation, to be able to deny stuff. Not still tries anyway, gets so much damage, but not quite enough. Will be taken down by Cryon's pipes, and that is one big fear removed from the field here for Admirable. One jump already gone. They take the space back quickly. Don't have to recap as well, so they can act off this Uber advantage as quickly as possible.
Yeah, can they move quickly enough? That's the question. It looks like they're going to do it. They're going to push off the Uber now. Crayon's getting the damage down onto that gun. Ulti did a really good job of trying to push it off with the pyro. Unfortunately, Kasuka goes down to the point. Things aren't really going the right way for Ireland. They're not really converting this Uber into frags. So they're in really good position now for Romania. Unfortunately, we're going for it anyway. Just trying to get a bunch of damage off onto Medic. Nothing really connecting, but the scouts on the point, and that won't matter too much. They managed to get the force off, which is ideal for Ireland. Now they just need to get Admirable out.
Yeah, if Romania got the cleanup there a little bit quicker, it would have been perfect for them. They dealt with the point pressure early on in the push really, really nicely, and just got them forced back pretty quickly. But stuff just didn't die towards the end, and it just was this weird even fight, and eventually you just forced the out of Adder and still made it a lot closer than necessary. With that being said, after the forced advantage, but not too much for Admirable, so they still need to be careful, and Romania doesn't care about the situation. They just want to go straight into mid. Yeah,
I mean, some really good spam coming down at the beginning of this, but now they need to look like they're going to leave. There was a complete flip-flop in terms of position. Ireland backing off as soon as they lose Diggy B. They need to make sure they do this as cleanly as possible. They don't want to get caught. Unfortunately, they do. Again, Silver's coming down. So we're expecting Romania to maybe try and walk forward here, maybe try and get some pressure onto Admirable, who just gets his Uber up the second. Kind of a split push coming out. A lot of position being taken on Sewer. Looks like we're going to get an exchange here. Yeah, no, we've got the exchange coming out. Bit of flashing going over on the side of Romania. Nice and clean from Ireland. It's just how do they move on from this?
Yeah, I really liked it by Ireland. They expected this push to come in like it did and just played aggressively into it, knowing that if they waste time and get the Uber on their own accord and not get forced like really, really early in comparison, they can just waste time until it spawns up and then have a like completely dead even post-Uber situation, which is where we are at now. So really smart play coming up by Ireland to do just that and get the stalemate going, but otherwise wasn't guaranteed.
So we've got a real aggressive bomb coming in here actually from Diggy B. He manages to get only half a rocket off before he gets cleaned up. Cribber now looking like he wants to go in as well. He looks like he's been punished. And he does go down. So that's two kind of cheap picks to give away here. It didn't require a double sack. We're looking like Romania want to come in and take this for nothing.
Yeah, really strange. Romania once again just gave them so much space, and Ireland just took the bait this time around. Could be going a little bit too deep. The jump was expected to die, but you know, you always hope it gets something in the meantime. Fortunately not the case, and with 2 down instead of 1, which was the initial plan. Not going too well for Ireland here, losing second, and now on the move to last slowly but surely. It's still an even situation, and with that a little bit of a stalemate here, but Kosuke wants to make the best of it on the spy class this time. No sniper for him now, and see if he can make some picks happen.
Yeah, he's got to wait a little while to get in here. I mean, there's a really tough area to try and break through. It doesn't look like he's going to get too much position. A lot of spam just going both ways. I mean, lobby's not the best place to hold without a plan. So they're kind of backing this one off, and that should give Kosuke a little bit more time. But he does actually end up going down to the stickies. Traded there with a nice shot on Shampoo. And so what we're going to do here, we've got kind of a bunch of spam going either way in the lobby. No one really managing to take position either way. Just kind of looking on a... Maybe he can wait this one out a little bit longer.
But he doesn't actually go for the medic. He wants instead to get the demo man. And TKB was there to maybe clean up, but not quite fast enough. Demos will stay alive just barely, and Anna obviously also staying just completely safe in all of this. So unfortunate feed unsuccessfully for Ireland. They had a small opening, but it was there. Couldn't act on it too much. Romania can just confidently stay here. Don't really act with the one kill, and with 5 minutes left, they don't necessarily need to.
Shampoo runs in there and does do, I mean, he doesn't do any damage, but that was a really, really great opening for him. Hurt, etc. And yeah, unfortunately it wasn't enough to quite deal with anything. So we've got one player down. Maybe we're looking at off class. Nope, we're going to come up completely cookie cutter.
Nagati as well, and won like shortly after Shampoo did his play. Just kind of held W for a few seconds and tried to get Silvers, and just kind of left him at 3 HP, fearing something else, but nothing came, so he just had the opportunity. But speaking of which, once again this double sack by Ireland, unsuccessful. DKP Kirby both going down. Unsuccessful in their play, and the spy behind line Shampoo, unexpected by everybody, and went down and everybody forward just picked apart at the same time. Well, the push came in already. Going into last, just has to clean up 3-2 now to get this point. They are struggling to find those, however.
Yeah, no, it just became absolute chaos. We're looking at whether the scout there can pull off the damage, and it absolutely does. And however, there's one player left in the form of Tavi who does go down. It was completely chaos at the end there.
They just messed up really badly on Romania, unfortunately. They just couldn't clean up the kills anymore after they got in, and they got in so nicely in the first place, which makes it all the more upsetting. And this could have almost been the nail in the coffin here, but with 4 minutes left, it's still fairly possible to get 2 more rounds on the board for Ireland.
Well, and that's what in the play here, you know, they're looking on bounding forward, but I mean, there's not a lot of health on the demo, and they're all split up. They have one good soldier bomb over, it manages to pick up 2 players, 3 now. We've got 1 soldier left on mid, just trying to save something desperately, trying to get another rocket onto that medic, but he's just getting cleaned up as well. It was too much aggression. They saw the timer, they freaked out a little bit, I guess, and it just wasn't what you needed there.
Yeah, Ireland just struggling to get into these mid points consistently right now, and Romania just baits them forward, gets these kills really, really nicely every single time now, and time is ticking down for Ireland, and even worse, still a good situation for Romania, so they can just hold W, you get into last with this Uber advantage, pop in to that, maybe clean up the kills this time.
Yeah, in stacking onto point, they know that it's what they need, and with 3 rounds up, 3 minutes left, it's looking like it's going to go the way of Romania in this first map, but let's see whether Ireland can maybe pull off some TCMs. I mean, Admirable knows a thing or two about it.
Yeah, maybe just instill some confidence going into the next map. Sure, most of which happens here anymore on this map might not be too relevant, but you know, get the head or keep the head in the game and don't just get too carried away going forward.
Nice early bomb there, just denying that pack. Demos are stuck in a really dodgy situation, waiting for an arrow means he can't hit the position. Really big bomb coming in from the demo. Yeah, it's not going to go anywhere. I mean, everyone's just bounding forward. They know it's the only way to try and convert this, but they're just getting mopped up from that choke area. Only Kribia left alive now, and he's going to go down, so deeply unfortunate. They tried to go for this big everybody bomb, everybody bound forward mid, but unfortunately they just got picked up.
Yeah, DKB, like in the midst of this chaotic mid fight as well, got a non-crit market garden kill, so you don't see that too often, but hey, it did work, it got the medic.
But you can tell they've got the spirit, you know, they still believe that maybe Ireland could pull this next map up, you know, maybe they're still laughing about it, you know, they just want to try and go into this next map in the high spirits as possible. You've got the nice close pyro play, looking at the demo bounding forward. It's crits on the hands of Admirable, and he's trying to... They've got the sniper picking up Shampoo, trying to go 1. They're actually getting the picks here, they're taking this a little bit awkwardly. I mean, I guess they're trying to play around this pyro. He gets picked off, however. Now they're just kind of bounding towards them. No Ubers in play yet so far, and Gotti's just absolutely hounding Sylvester.
Yeah, and a little bit of a weird ulti-duo fight here. Not DKB and Demos fighting each other, except Demos has backup, and that's all that matters in the end. Shampoo with that, just too much to deal with for the lonely soldier there, left alone, so Admirable can survive with his crits almost being up.
It's absolute chaos, I'll be honest. I don't know whether maybe they're talking about how to take this next map, but we've got the Uber coming in from this one area onto the scout. He's not really doing, yeah, there you go, that's the damage on. They're just managing to get onto point. Looks like it's going to be a 4th round on there for Romania. Not entirely sure what happened in that last round. Things went a little bit messy.
Yeah, well, to be fair, Ireland is probably well aware how realistic the comeback chances are in this game at this point in time. So they're just having a little bit of fun, and hey, maybe you can make it so chaotic that not even Romania knows what's going on, and maybe carry that on into the next map.
Yeah, shout out to Wheat for watching that. That must have been a hard ride. And we're into our last mid of the game. We've got a nice big bomb in from Silvers. He's going to go down. Unfortunately, he just hasn't got the DDB behind him. He does go in, does manage to pick up demos. Of course, it's kind of a little bit pointless at this point now. The marble looks like it's going to go down. Yeah, no, it's a mid that pretty much sums up the game. It was like good aggression, good team play, and Crypti's dead.
I don't know, it was a little bit too fast to really sum up how the game went, like a lot of times here. Really slow game at times, and just like some mistakes decided how things went after that. So once again, just a few seconds left on the clock. Romania can win it by score. The question is, will they, and will Ireland let them at this point? Everybody stacked, they want it really hard, but Ireland doesn't let them at all. Just collapse on the point, get all these kills. Prevent it from getting any worse. 4-0 will be our final scoreline for map 1.
Yeah, it was, I mean, I guess as we were saying earlier, Ireland looked like maybe they were lacking some definitive calls. They were a little bit slow on the upkeep. Yeah, it worked very well sometimes. You know, some of these transitions were really solid. But on the whole, it just wasn't enough. They weren't quite getting these like really strong last Ubers. You know, even when they were in a positive position, they just kind of were like maybe messing around the lobby a little bit too much. I mean, lobby's a terrible area. These kind of transition areas to stay in. Just going on a little bit too long.
Yeah, it was really interesting, as well as how slow they played at times, intentionally so, I would assume. Just like slowly making their moves really carefully, not trying to take any risks. And when it worked, it was really, really interesting to see. And it worked wonders, but sometimes it cost them way too much time, especially in these mid fights where Romania just were letting them in, and on the like mid pushes, I should say, not mid fights, where Romania were letting them in, letting them get a lot of space, and eventually just figured out who was the best target to pick, and then it just went bad for Ireland from there on out.
We've got the logs up on the screen now, and we are looking at a definite MVP for the game. Demo's up there with 11,000 damage. Heads, 24 kills, 7 deaths, heads and tails above every other player in the server. Absolutely fantastic. He completely owned this game. And then from then on, we're looking like a little bit of a Romanian show. Gotti putting in a very, very good performance over there on Scout, 24-11.
Yeah, really strong performances coming out by the Romanian players, and this experience difference just makes such a big difference, unfortunately, for Ireland. Romania, with these like high caliber players that have this lots of experience together and like individually in general, just coming out through getting these big scorelines and just a lot more control in the game in total.
Yeah, and we're looking at the way that these medics had their games definitely were very different. Admirable really having to dodge a lot of the kind of the chaos, whereas at a 2 for 2, I mean, you're not very often looking at a kind of a 1 for 1 KD on a medic, but yeah, very, very well done.
It
just went in their favor.
It's strange as well, because like I mentioned one time that there was just this huge hole for the Irish soldiers to jump in and get the kill while there's like no scouts protecting the medic. But looking at the score, it must have been like the only time that really happened. They didn't let anything touch their medic at all.
Yeah, we had a couple of really unfortunate kind of drop stats near the beginning. I don't know whether that would have rattled the Irish side. I mean, they never really got hold of that game. It was all a little bit of a, I don't know, maybe a little bit of indecisiveness, and maybe that's going to be what we look to change going to Gully Wash. I mean, new map, new us, new Ireland?
Maybe. I don't know how realistic it is for Ireland to still make it out of groups at this point, but at the very least, they can make it harder for the Romanians going forward and steal some points away from them.
If there's one thing I've learned in the entire time that the Nations Cup's been going on, World Cup, etc., it doesn't matter if you win, you know, it's all about that nationalistic pride, and I think that Ireland, they've got something to prove. You know, they can't go down without a fight, otherwise they won't live it down for however long it is until the next Nations Cup. So what I want to see is a little bit more decisiveness, maybe. Maybe the I don't know, maybe some wise ads words in the interim will be exactly what they need to try and turn this one around.
Yeah, Marvel didn't start playing pucks every day for a week just to get no points in the Nations Cup. So he will hopefully help the team out a little bit and get a little bit more focus going here.
Maybe it's on Romania because, you know, it's been this long since ads has been playing. Don't scare him off now. You know, maybe Romania need to be a little bit fairer and, you know, let him stick around a little bit longer.
We'll see. We're just waiting for the last few players to get in here. So after how that just went and had the close-up parts of this map, but eventually Romania still in control for the most part. How do you think Gollywood will fare in comparison?
It's a very similar mid in the way that we kind of approach it. We're looking at who can get forward and be aggressive at the beginning and then kind of like maintain that. So, I mean, you'd expect the team that have shown themselves to be a little bit more together, maybe to come out on top on this one. I mean, maybe there are some hidden strats on Ireland that we don't know about here, but I mean, I'm kind of thinking at the moment that Romania's soldiers look like they've got really good control of the map at the moment, so let's... I'm going to say it's definitely look like it's going to go in their favour. What are we thinking?
I do have to agree, but I am expecting Ireland to maybe step up the game a little bit, have it a little bit closer, maybe like 4-2, back and forth, still stalemate at times, because after how the first map went, I feel like that's to be expected. Both teams struggled a little bit to get like a quick conversion sometimes, so there will be stalemates to be had here for sure.
Yeah, I mean, stalemates definitely going to go in their favour for this map. This is a really solid map for stalemates, and we are going into our first mid. So let's see how they take it. Going to be watching which team can take the early aggression, which team can just take this maybe this top point. We've got both teams rolling out completely normal. No team really taking an aggressive stance so far. They could be kind of playing in that lower area. The soldiers now jumping up, trying to get some early damage onto Shampoo. Shampoo does go down. Managed to pick up a couple of players either side. A bit of a fight now going on the other side. Marble does walk out. Very, very passive position from him. Unfortunately, yeah, this does go the way of Romania.
Yeah, really great defense coming out from Romania, just dealing with this double bomb. Really nice, not letting them really get too much damage up at all. And DigV and Sylvester just have like no opportunity to do too much on these Spitfires. Didn't have to begin with on Process and will carry on into this map. So that will continue being the trend here for Romania, putting Ireland on a nice little last hold with the Pyro up already.
Yep, equal Uber, Pyro in play. We're looking for some kind of sack, most likely from Romania. Taking it nice and slow, no one really probing too tough. It looks like they're going to try and maybe soldier from this river side. Maybe waiting for a space on it. Looks like it's going to come in now. He jumps up high, gets completely annihilated. Demos looks like he also full. Not quite. He does manage to get away. So yeah, not quite practiced play there. Not quite a practiced sack. We've got the Pyro kind of bounding forward in this top area. See whether there's anyone that he can try and pick off. Does find a Gotti, but not going to be quite enough. And they need to try and get out of this area now before they get punished by the players rotating to lobby.
And with that, stalemate would continue a little bit. Both teams just feeling each other out after that little jump, just seeing can we sneak something into the other side.
Yeah, nothing's changed in the last minute or so. We're kind of still looking for a way in, maybe a carbon copy jump. Doesn't look like it. We've got the demo now holding up in this river area. Lobby's getting spammed really heavily. They can't really just stay here and not do anything. Looks like we're now rotating over. We got the scout now going underneath. That's Gotti just kind of waiting, maybe trying to bait the scout in. He manages to do it. Demos does go down, so the bait goes on a little bit too far. And the scout's not doing too well himself over there in the Gotti. They managed to push off a banner. Uber's not going either way, but 2 players down for Romania.
Yeah, questionable backup pop by Sylvester, but in the end, the kills were coming their way regardless, so it still is a successful play nonetheless. And they're trying to make some moves here in Ireland. And with Sylvester on the point, Kuzuka takes the sticky in the face, goes down, and the backup gets started. Silver Shampoo only DGB to block it, but he can't. Shampoo wins that fight. And that will be around for Romania.
Shampoo just really punishing Ireland for just taking a little bit too long to get out. Just goes in through that lower area, just takes the 1v1. Maybe DGB's caught a little bit napping there. Unfortunate, it happens, but they do need to be a little bit quicker to get out, maybe on top, maybe get an eye that might be the thing that happens here. Either way, new mid. We're gonna see demos rolling out completely normally. We've got Play coming up from drop down, just trying to get a little bit of damage onto the demo. He's going to slow down the play a little bit here. Ireland just waiting to really do anything here. A lot of damage coming out onto the point. Does manage to get one pick down, but it's traded. More position coming out generally for the Romanian side. Diggy's stuck basically nowhere. He's on almost 0 health. I mean, they're staying in the fight. They're not scared, but maybe they should be.
Well, Diggy just stuck in the low hood. He just keeps getting these rockets up on the point. Gets a 2k on like 5 HP or something while waiting for an air by Admirable that just never came. And he wanted to play off this little distraction that everybody was still in choke, but he just had no support and still somehow got 2 kills with it.
Absolutely nuts from Diggy. I thought it was out the fight, but it's never over if they don't see you. He managed to pop with a couple of really nice rockets, so he does kind of save his team a little bit of a red face. It was looking a little bit dodgy for a while there. So now we're looking at a reset. Nothing, kind of got the Hydra and Gotti over on flank. Nothing really going down there too tough. No off classes, so you can go either side.
Yeah, it just depends on like who understands this damage better, who knows what to do to break it a little bit better. So far, it is Ireland rotating really aggressively here into Big Door, forcing Ada and Co to do the same, put the heals onto Big Door and just see if they can spam something out. So far, not the case. Leaves the choke area obviously wide open for somebody to potentially make a play. So far, it's just Vlad taking a lot of damage, and they use this double distract to eventually just hold forward while people are looking at choke again, getting the kills with Gotti and Big Door instead.
Yeah, they're going to keep this aggression going on, but they're walking into demos, and demos, if last game's anything to go by, it's an absolute beast when it comes to small areas. So they do very suitably back off. Unfortunately, not having a chance to get a sack off whilst that guy is down. But here it comes, it's a little bit later. He's not really doing too much. He kind of gets... Oh, he does manage to get out, though. Nice little bit of jumping around. Doesn't quite find the medic, so realises that he just needs to bat this one off. Good to not die there.
Yeah, and it will keep the stalemate intact for both sides, so it will continue being a little bit slow here. We've heard a banner pop off before, maybe not successfully, but it did happen. I don't see one right now. Instead, it's just Romania making some moves into Big Door and get Gotti in behind successfully. Now he just needs to make something happen from there. And so far, everybody's where he is. So they're all chasing him, but he just finds the opening. Almost gets the shot into Admirable that he needs, but Admirable will stay alive in this. Really, really strange that they just put all the focus behind and still not able to catch him early.
Yeah, great job to get the shots off. Just wasn't quite enough in the end. Didn't quite nail the shots. Things got a little bit messy there. Maybe because they're slowing this down a little bit too much for comfort. We're looking for someone just to take some kind of aggressive point. You know, we've got the scout now hiding underneath. He's been spotted out, so it's going to be a shampoo kill. However, that's not going to stop Diggy B trying to push his flank, which is... Oh, it does actually end up going in their favour. They managed to pick up Gotti. So they managed to get now two frags, one more for Ireland, and they're going to try and push just on the basis of that. I mean, they're looking at the time, the 1-0, they can probably... They've got time to fail here, so they can try to push us forward one a little bit more. Unfortunately, Diggy B does go down the flank. It gets a little bit messy over there. No one's really choosing a side, unfortunately. Now the Romanians are. They get really nice pop-off on the Admirable. Now the counter pop coming up, but they're in a much better situation. They can just chase this one through with both the scouts. Whether Admirable can get out, he really needs to try and latch on the scout and just run the heck home.
So far, he's staying alive, but at the same time, they're losing all the space for. Really unfortunate on mid. Diggy B mistimed his jump just a little bit. Blood just came out of choke the moment he turned up from drop down, and now it's looking really sketchy for Ireland. Romania just taking all the space. Kazuki, the only one left on the second point, taking 1v1, trying to escape with his lights, will successfully do so. And in the end, they actually trade even numbers, so it's not the end of the world, but nonetheless, they lost all the space 2 seconds to begin with.
Yeah, really dodgy counter-attack there, actually. They were trying to rotate up the top area, and things just... I don't know, people ended up in weird positions. So, although they do get 2 picks, which is great, it did mean that they could do that without being punished too hard. That was a bit of an odd one. They're trying to take this Pyro now into the lobby. They have managed to find a soldier who was a little bit too far forward, but not quite anything too tough yet. They're just looking now maybe about taking something lower, maybe trying to get this Pyro out. It's a bit of a very, very aggressive play. Goes down straight away. They managed to accidentally hit the spy before Gotti.
Turns
just very unlucky from him.
Walks into a rocket. Like, he had a good opportunity there as well, given that the Pyro was already out of the picture, but eats the rocket anyway. They know something must be up. So it's now a matter of how careful are the Irish guys here about it.
Yeah, Romania is not afraid. They're trying to take this lobby position. They've got this one fairly well on lock. They still have the spy. Gotti currently hiding under. Pyro's not really spy checking. Maybe they don't know. They've got the soldier bomb coming in, trying to go for that. Oh, really nice headshot from Gotti. Comes out from nowhere. I don't know how he hit that.
Yeah, just
Absolutely
so much
incredible
push at the same time with the spy's pistol dealing the damage and the jump coming in as well. Eventually just forces the Uber out of that marble. What they've been looking for the entire time, but it cost them a few lives. Could be one star more, maybe a little bit too badly. All alone in Victor will be taken down. That's all they can really make as a play here.
Yeah, I mean, they were lucky to get the frags, but now they're looking to bound in through this river area. They've got the Uber out, they're going to pop off on the scout. He's going to try and lay down some damage onto the engineer so that the gun can go down nice and easy. They're trying to take this top right position, try and force this medic back. They just need to focus these frags. All of them going in the way of Romania, just nothing quite managing to stay alive. With Marble now on point, stuck just Demo alive, they're going to bound onto it, and that is a 2-0.
Yeah, a lot of work had to be done for Romania on this map to get these rounds, but they're still doing it, and just some fancy little coordination there onto Lars, onto the medic with the spy and the soldier is what it took eventually to break the stalemate, and going to lead a 2-0, 20 minutes left on the clock.
We're seeing a stronger Romania side here. Maybe it's their map. I mean, it looks like they've definitely got a few more plays on this map, and we're seeing them kind of trying to take up their side again. Very standard mid. A lot of fight going on underneath. Nothing really happening across. We need to start walking forward. Both just spam going either side. Again, fight going on underneath. No one really bounding forward on the top ground. A lot of people just kind of taking these outskirts area. Finally, some bomb coming forward, and that one bomb is enough to completely destroy Silvers. So that was Ada. That was a medic in the form of Ada.
Yeah, it's the one salvation play they needed here to make it a little bit better for themselves. They lost a mid fight, but they might just win it on the second try. The question is how much space can Romania take and how much pressure can they put up onto Admirable. Before that's the case, they want to make use of this Uber advantage they got out of this late kill onto Ada, but Romania won't give up without a fight, and so far they already got the first kill here. Silver's down, that's one less Solly to have to worry about.
And they've still got a great advantage here. Unfortunately, they haven't got the soldiers, so it's going to be a slightly more difficult push here than it needs to be. They're going to opt for this lower area. Let's see if it gets spotted out. I don't think anyone's checked it. They've gone straight into left. They're trying to maybe go into their elbow. Yeah, absolutely. They've managed to get up on Romania's side. They're going to pop this one off now. They're still very, very close. They can take these scouts forward and see whether they can just melt it to them. Absolutely brilliant running forward from the scouts. Loads of damage coming off. Manages to chase her all the way forward. Gets demos. Ada goes down, but they're just only getting mid now.
That was really, really nice, because at the same time as this push happened with 3 people forward, there was also a triple flank coming in by the Romanian side, just 3 people trying to back up, but they perfectly split up 3-3 to have these eyes behind, deal with that perfectly, and that's the level of play that Ireland hasn't really shown too much this match so far, but desperately need to get back into the picture.
Yeah, Tavi gets shut down whilst trying to deal with the transition, maybe try and pick off Admirable. I mean, it's not the biggest advantage on the planet, but it looks like they're building quite well. They're just looking to maybe scope this one out. We've got Engineer slowly bringing a sentry into life. We've got the Pyro trying to protect that one, so they're going to try and start turning these rounds now with 18 minutes remaining. We're going to have to see some kind of proactive play, and it looks like that's what we're going to see. Coming to River, we're going to take the demo in, try and get some damage onto this gun. It does end up going down. The Pyro's not in great health either. It looks like he might be picked off. So we're kind of seeing the frags going all the right way for Ireland. We're very, very aggressive Silver's play. He goes down to basically nothing. He just runs forward with the stick, manages to push Ada out. Now with an arrow. Playing around point, just trying to get some of his way, but unfortunately everyone's just died on the hands of Ireland.
Yeah, for every great kill they got, so did Romania, and they make it a close fight in the end, but Admirable, the only survivor, makes it really easy now to take the second point for the Romanian team, able to get there for free with a nice little Uber advantage. Admirable obviously hadn't had anybody to build Uber with the entire time until the spawns came in, so Ireland now has to be careful once again.
So we've got a Kasuka sniper looking on that now choke area there. Unfortunately, they've come down through lower. They were spotted, so people are trying to get out. Really good bomb on from Silvers. Gets the force off. Absolutely fantastic. Unfortunately, 2 people go down in choke from the demo's bomb. So they can still push second here. They've got sizable advantage for Admirable, but doesn't look like they're going to be able to get this one out, and they're all the way back, so it looks like it's going to be suitably for last.
Yeah, it was making the best of the worst, really. They had to use the U, unfortunately, really nice jump by Silvers, but they just were still not out quite yet, and so the remaining players of the Romanians are still able to get some kills here to just keep the momentum up all the way to where we are right now. Now it's up onto Ireland. They have the advantage. It's out of last, so it's not the easiest push to make here, but they have the opportunity with this advantage. And potentially a ban up as well. I see a backpack on Silvers.
Yeah, this is going to be a real tough one if they choose to go with this. They're kind of still peeking out, but the longer they wait, the more likely it is that Romania are going to have their Uber up. And it's just maybe lacking a little bit of decision there. I mean, or they've called this one off, but they are going to kind of maybe stay in lobby. Maybe for this forward hold position. Again, they're just kind of lacking coordination just to take it. Now it looks like they're going to take it when it's Uber v Uber. This could be quite bad for them unless they try and get a pick off nice and early. We've got the Pyro coming forward trying to deny the soldier in choke. Now they need to try and get around to this big door area. Unfortunately, both soldiers have bomb choke. I mean, they're leaving a chance for Shampoo to maybe go high again or something like that. They need to start getting onto them. Gotti is the one who's trying to go behind now. He actually does manage to get picked off by the demo. But again, this isn't over. This is still kind of waiting over on Big Door. Pyro gets a really nice shot on, but he's going to get cleaned up.
Yeah, really strange fight here. Neither side really knows what to do because they both expect the other team to do something else than they are actually doing. So they just confuse each other in the end. But in the end, it's Romania making the first move into last year instead of just waiting to let them do any more. Get the UR exchange there, but much better for Ireland due to using much later. So they need to be careful, but Addis all alone gets another saw and gets clean up by Gotti as well to kill Kirby. And that's already 3 down for Ireland. They need to be just hitting everything, but they just aren't.
Incredibly odd. Yeah, the reason that the admirable Uber was so much better was because they were still over in river by the time the Uber came in. Like, they were behind the Uber. Like, by that time that, you know, and people end up getting dropped, it ends up just being basically a Diggy and admirable trying to defend the point. It just wasn't... I don't know, it wasn't going to be indicative of a good defense. But either way, again, new mid, new us. We've got, again, very, very standard rollouts. We've got the soldier maybe trying to take this lower fight again. A lot of people kind of in this low area. We had a counter bomb up trying to slam down the early demo aggression, trade underneath. And now we're just waiting for someone to kind of make their mind up. Trying to bomb across, really good damage onto Admirable, forces him to back up a little bit. Demo's in a very forward position. Now getting pincered by Gotti. Gotti doesn't see Admirable, he's kind of looking at Choke. He's going to end up chasing him down now. It looks like Admirable's going to fall. So, I mean, again, a very, very odd mid. They've still got this, what was that one? That was a demo underneath the entire time. But, yeah, again, very odd mid.
Yeah, really, really strange fights here, but once again, Romania just coming out on top, and Admirable survived the first bomb onto his life, like really late from drop down there, but the scout was there to clean up, which the scouts are just having a three-way fight. In drop down, Gotti will be the only survivor of that for now, and will mean 1 down each, I should say.
Yeah, nicely bomb though onto the medic. Very, very nice. Just manages to get that wall jump up onto Ada, forces that one off. So that was a saving grace considering most of the team is still dead, so they just need to again, they got the pop, they just need to get the defenses up and get prepared for a fight.
Yeah, but without any Ubers on the table, it might just take a while for anyone to make any moves. Mild add for Ada, but not a whole lot, so Shampoo is just on Spy, expecting the stalemate, trying to make some moves. They had success before with the Spy, but maybe Ireland just doesn't want to give them the time this time around and just start pushing early and unexpectedly. The bombs come in, but they just can't find the right target. Sylvester both going down in the backhand. Once again, with the Spy, completely unexpected, just behind lines. They didn't see it coming, neither did I. I expected him to make another play, but that is 4-0 already, and we're heading into match point really early today. Let's see
this is what here could possibly be the last mid if this incredible aggression keeps up. We're looking at a very, very aggressive mid. We're going to try and get some early damage on. They've managed to burst... Tabby bombs over, actually. Manages to pick up Admirable. Completely slams down the Irish medic. Sillers goes down as well. I mean, this was exactly the kind of decision-making that they maybe could have ended the game out a lot earlier. But yeah, really, really good aggression. As now whether Acribi can win this 1v1. Now it's a 2v1, so it looks like it's not going to go in his favour. Unfortunately for Ireland, this isn't looking too great for them this last mid.
Yeah, this is much improved in Romania, both from the first match, this Nations Cup, and from the first map as well. Just so much more control, letting Ireland not do anything at all, and it's looking really dire now with still 11 minutes left, potentially in the clock, if Romania were to mess this up.
Yeah, some nice forward aggression, just trying to see what they can do with the players in lobby, but it wasn't quite enough. Everyone's now going to be fighting in through this lower area. It's going to be Demo's now Ubered in. Just needs to try and just pick off whatever they see nice and close. Silvers is the first one to go down. DB's trying to get on top of point, just trying to lay something down, but he ends up falling, gets absolutely cut down again. I mean, frags are going the way of Ireland, but it's a 3 apiece. Shampoo goes down now as well, unfortunately. It's Pyro that ends up getting the last kill there. Now it's a fight just between the Demo. He's getting arrowed to absolute hell, but does manage to pick up Demos. Ada goes down as well. God tier defense.
Yeah, great on saving Ireland there from the worst, but can they do anything off of this? These kills must feel nice, but something else needs to happen off of it to still come back in 10 minutes. Sounds like plenty time, but it doesn't need to be. Not making some moves as well in that area. Get Kirby gets Gotti as well, so both getting one each. Now they're just staring down each other, and that will be the loser of that fight. Silvers and Crayon kept up the second point.
2 players down. I mean, do you fancy it if you're Ireland here? Like, they've got to go now, right?
Yeah, they don't have too much time anymore, and if they lose, it's over anyway. So there's not much to lose here anymore. Like, if you're losing by time or losing by score at this point, so they're just trying. But the Demos is maybe trying a little bit harder with his pipes. Hit a few nice ones, and that takes so much damage. But they're still trying to protect as much as they can. Blood with a nice rocket onto Kazuka will deal the final blow, and not only Bar, but he realizes he's stuck behind lines against the entire Romanian team. He will kill Bind, and second will go the Romanian way, and potentially even more than that.
Demos did a great job of just completely nailing down that choke. He never turned around, didn't move anything. He just kept detonating those stickies, and yeah, did a really good job. And it looks like this is even worse than before. We're looking at 100% Uber advantage. We're looking at a very strong Romanian team coming in now. They've managed to get some early time on point. Not enough to write home about. I mean, Silver's now in that top area. He needs to be denied. He ends up falling. Players on Ireland are equating to about 50 health combined. And finally, the point goes to Gotti. That is a GG 5-0.
Yeah, Romania taking all 6 points out of this fixture, and with that, we'll be having a really interesting round 3 game in Group G, deciding who will get second and who will get third between Romania and Ukraine. So that should be an interesting one, as Ireland, unfortunately with that, already decided to not make it into the playoff stages anymore for this group as well. And yeah, unfortunately for them. And this should be, it's still interesting be going forward with this like decider for second place who will make the playoffs. And ultimately Romania are a much improved team from the first game. Sure, Ireland is not quite a France level team, but overall still they look in general just like a much better team today than they did last week.
I'm not entirely sure what to say in terms of the future of this Romanian team, but they did look a lot stronger today. You know, they had a lot of very nice coordinated aggression. They kind of had, I mean, this looked like it was their map. They had a lot more kind of like individual kind of sack ideas and things like that. They were a lot more decisive. I mean, Ireland never really got off the bat on that one. They had a couple of like okay sack plays, but you know, they could be made up on the spot. It doesn't look like they've really spoken about this one too tough, and that's why they had a much harder time, especially in this game. This map in particular, they just never really looked like they knew what they were doing on mids. So let's have a look at these logs. Obviously a 5-0, so they're going to be skewed one way, but once again we have Demos up there with the absolutely phenomenal damage. That's 14 to 5 with a 8k damage. I mean, 407 damage per minute. I mean, again, he was the kind of the MVP of this map, but not to be forgotten, Gotti 21 to 12. Again, I saw a lot of Gotti in the kind of cleanup frags.
Yeah, if you just sort by kills as well, it's just like the old basketball team is coming back together. Gotti, Shampoo, Demos, one after another in the kill stats, just leading the charts here today. And yeah, they haven't slowed down at all since then, it seems.
No, they were doing a really good job of, you know, I think everyone had their roles well defined. Everyone knew how much space they had. You know, like Demos was doing a great job of making sure Ireland couldn't do basically anything for free. Gotti was getting a lot of really good wins, especially when it came down to those kind of scrappy fights after Ubers and things like that. He was doing a really good job at those. And unfortunately, looking at especially the flank for Ireland, it looks like they just had a really bad game. They just couldn't really get into the hang of it, even after 30 minutes.
Yeah, which is sad to see. Like, damage voices is so close. They got a lot of damage off a lot of the times. They just couldn't do too much with it, and that's where this big 24 kill difference comes into play, which just looking at those numbers alone just tells you a lot about how the quality was here just compared to each other. And with that being said, logs aside, that was round 2 of Group G today in full, both games back to back. And for Group G's future, that means Romania will have the decider against the Ukraine next week, probably. I mean, they can schedule that whenever, but most likely next week to decide who will make the second place. Well, they are guaranteed second place at this point. France can't really drop down anymore, despite it being a tie in points, technically, because they won against both Ukraine and Romania. So it will be a decider for second between the two. Should be a really interesting game. For the rest of the Nations Cup, we have games tomorrow coming up that we will try to bring you as well. And that are Latvia, Spain, Algeria, Netherlands, and Germany, Netherlands. So the Dutch double header, and we are definitely looking to bring you Germany, Netherlands. That looks like a really interesting game. So far, it's like first versus second will decide who will guaranteed get first and second seed that group. And Germany going into this is a little bit of a favorite, but Netherlands have a lot of experience together and high-level experience as well. So it's by no means a free win at all for Germany, and I have to say that as a German here, that they can still easily choke. That being said, I am fairly convinced they already made it out of group, so it can't be any worse than the World Cup, and that's already comforting to know. And with that, that's been us from Kidscast here. If you have any last shoutouts.
I mean, thanks for having me on. It's been my dream for all of a week to cast a Nations Cup game. And I never knew how much I wanted it until it happened. Also, shout out to Epoli, who is currently behind me. Shout out. I don't think he'd be here today.
Shout out to you guys. Shout out to Criticast, beautiful organisation full of beautiful people. Love you guys. Shout out to the viewers. Shout out to the teams. All of that.
Yeah, and thanks for having us both on. We were hanging out together. We thought, wouldn't it be fun? And oh god, it was. And thank you, DuMmTm. Thank you, Wheat. You're both wonderful. Yeah, and with that, we see you next time tomorrow, 21:15, Germany, Netherlands, decider of Group B here on Critcast.
Hi, old beaver! Away!